Well, the Lord has done a great work in my life, and I know it's nothing that I could have ever done by myself. And just give me the courage to come up here. And I just pray that He will use whatever I have to say for His glory, and that it might not be anything that I'm doing myself, but all in Him. And just, I'm not the same person as I used to be. And I know that He will keep on in this work that He started, that He won't let me fall away. And I'm just going to tell you how that all came about. First, I don't ever really remember a time whenever I didn't think I was a Christian. I just kind of always thought I was a Christian. And part of that was because we started going to church whenever I was very young. And the church that we went to believed that if you repeated a prayer, then you were a Christian. And I remember Peyton prayed that prayer, and many of my friends would pray that prayer, but I don't think I ever did. I never even prayed that prayer. When we started coming to church, I just became a Christian. I just became what everybody else was around me. Because I wanted people to think good of me. I wanted people to be impressed and think I was a good person. And so I always would just morph into whatever was around me. And I always wanted to impress people. And so I would always listen in Sunday school class, and I gained a lot of knowledge through reading the Bible so that I could answer questions correctly. And all I really cared about was impressing people and making people think that I was a good spiritual Christian person. And my teachers really did. They thought I was wonderful and a perfect person. But I knew that, and I was very prideful in that. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm just such a wonderful person. And I had always been like that, just even in preschool. In preschool, I remember looking down on all the other preschoolers and thinking about how much better I was than they all were. And just, if someone came to me and mentioned that maybe I had a fault, I would get very, very angry at them, because I thought that I was pretty much perfect. And so I would get angry at them, and I would point out all the things in their life behind their backs and tear them down. And then I would be hateful and bitter against them. And so I never did any of the things that I did for the love of God or because I loved Christ and wanted to bring Him glory. I did everything because I wanted men to think good of me. And for many, many years I went on like this, just being very prideful in what I was doing. But then we kind of got a little bit distanced from the church when Gracie was little, and then Mom and Dad started listening to Paul Washer messages. And at first I would listen, and I'd listen enough just so that I'd have something to say later when Mom would say, so what did you think about that message? And I'd just kind of say something so that she would think that I was listening and think that it meant something to me. But really I was bored, and I was not happy that we were listening to these. I just thought, man, why do we have to listen to these every night? And inside there was a lot of hatred towards everything, and just, why do I have to listen to this? Why do I have to do these things? I didn't like to go to church. I did not like to get up on Sunday mornings, but I did it all, and I never really let show that I wasn't happy doing these things, because I was very much a faker. And so I just wanted people to think that I was happy doing these things. But after a while listening to the messages, I started kind of listening to them and being interested in them, because he was preaching something that was different than anything I'd ever heard before. It was that people who said that they were a Christian, that they might not actually be a Christian, that praying a prayer doesn't just magically make you a Christian. And so I thought, well, this new belief, obviously Mom and Dad are listening to this, we're obviously trying this new belief and we're going to be this way. And so I thought, well, I better become a Christian His way and make sure that I'm doing things the way our new belief system is. And so I was listening, and I'm like, well, how do I become a Christian His way? And so I knew He said to repent. And so I'd lay in bed at night, and I'd try to repent of my sins, and I'd try to squeeze out some tears, and I'd try to confess sins and ask God to come and to save me, but I never really saw my sin. Of course I would say, oh yeah, everyone has sin, I'm sinful, but I never really saw it. And even the few sins that I could think of to confess I didn't really think they were that bad. I didn't really think I was a bad person. And so for this went on for a while, where I was just laying in bed trying to repent, trying to become a Christian, because it seemed like that's just was the next step. That was just what I was supposed to do. And then one night, it was the night before Mom was going to have a surgery, and I was just praying. I'm like, Lord, have the surgery go well. Don't let anything happen to her. And I was praying that she would be kept safe. But then I felt this sense of dread that just the Lord was going to have something happen to her in the surgery to get through to me. And I said, Lord, don't let anything happen to her. Just take me, do whatever you want with me, just don't let anything happen to her. And after that, I felt a sense of joy, but there was never any change in my life, and there was never a seeing me as I really was. It was just I didn't want anything bad to happen. And so I was willing to do anything to keep bad things from happening, but I never saw reality in my own heart. And I kept on living the way I was, criticizing other people, thinking I was a pretty good person. And I thought, well, now I'm a Christian Paul Washer's way, and so I didn't have to worry about anything anymore. So I just kept on going the way that I was going. And very shortly after that, we started coming to Lake Road, and it was a very big change for me, because I had gone from where everyone who says they're a Christian, of course they're a Christian. Everyone who prays the prayer, oh, they're a Christian. To that not everybody who professes to be a Christian is a Christian. And that was odd for me, because I had always been considered, oh, of course you're a Christian, and you're a very spiritual, good, wonderful Christian. And then I came here, and there was a sense of everybody didn't just say, oh, of course you're a Christian. There was just a sense of not quite fitting into the Christian group, into the Christian club. And I tried to fit in. I tried to be spiritual, and I tried to talk spiritual, and I tried to behave like everybody else. But there was a sense where I couldn't